You could be the best business owner on the planet, but you can still be stuck in a cycle of chaos. Right now, there is a huge amount of male business owners and male business leaders that are obsessing about financial targets, about infrastructure growth, about developing staff, about moving the needle forwards in their professional life. And the problem is that they are operating without a system. And without that system, they are allowing chaos to reign, and it's affecting the biggest parts, the most important parts of their life. In this episode, we are going to look at why those business owners are losing control and are stuck in a cycle of chaos. We're going to look at the strategy that helps business owners become more consistent with their systems and the way that they manage their time, energy, and focus so that they never fall into that cycle of chaos again. And lastly, we're going to look at the belief system that we need to shift to make sure that this becomes embodied in your life. Right now, on paper, from the front end of your business, everything looks good. Financial targets being met, you're growing, you're building your business, and anyone from the outside looking in would think that you're successful. But the problem is, behind the mask, there is inconsistency in the way that you operate. You're scrambling right now to try and lead from the front, to try and please everyone. You're the guy that everybody relies on. And the one person that isn't getting the best version of you is you. When we talk about inconsistency, what we're talking about is a start-stop approach on how we operate, not just in your professional life, but your personal life. Inconsistent health routines, inconsistent connections with the people we love, inconsistent barriers to separate work and life, constantly feeling guilt about not being fully present at home, being disappointed and ashamed at the reflection of the mirror and the way that you're looking because you're neglecting your health. And this is where the complete misbalance of what success is comes into play. The cost of your success in your business is costing you and your personal life, personal standards, and the way that you operate. You've simply outgrown the old system that used to benefit you. You're now operating with an outdated system that is costing you health, connections, and personal growth. When I first started in business way back in 2013, I spent the first 5 years spending 80% of my time, energy, and focus around developing my business. I had become blindsided to the way that I was operating, and the cost of that was that I was not spending the correct amount of time that I needed to with the people that I loved the most. And it wasn't until the point where my now wife turned around to me and said, "Enough is enough." My belief system was one where I felt I had to provide for my family. I told myself all the time, I want them to have the nice things in life. I want us to be able to go out to dinner. I want us to be able to go on holidays. So my belief was that I had to sacrifice myself for all of those things to earn more money in my business. And what it really meant was that I had no structure, I had no routines, and I had no systems. I would wake up, look at my phone, start working within the first 10 minutes, and not finish till 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. And this meant that I had little time to be able to interact with my kids, my wife, and keep on top of my health. I remember one time driving to the gym in my van, getting to the gym, sitting in the van going, I am too busy to be able to go to the gym. And I never even got out of that van. I drove straight home, got straight on my laptop, and started head down working again on the business. There was no priorities, there was no productivity. I was overloaded and not being the man that I wanted to be. In order for me to change this, I had to shift my belief system. I had to realize that the business didn't need me 24/7, 365. That in fact, my family were the priority. So I shifted my value from one of building success in the business to building success at home. And that meant that everything within my own four walls got my priority before I started taking it outside of those four walls. My health, my relationships, my mental health, my emotional health, my finances, my structures and routines and systems that allowed me to be the asset, that allowed me to be consistent with the way that I operated with my systems. I introduced one key strategy to be able to base my life around. This is now called the Mission Balance Code, and it consists of 5 pillars: health, personal development, relationships, business, and fun. In order for me to feel complete, to feel successful, to reduce the amount of chaos, I needed to ensure that I was balancing my time, my energy, and my focus. So I set about building structures, routines, and systems to ensure that I got a good amount of each one of those pillars in my life. I changed my concept of life, and instead of building my life around my business, I flipped it round 180 and I built my business around my life. So the key pillars that I paid attention to were health, relationships, personal development, and having fun. And by doing that, I was better in my job role as a business owner because I was happier, I was fitter, there was more energy, I didn't feel guilt anymore. I felt connected, and that gave me the energy to push my business to new heights. The one thing that brought all of this together to make sure that I was consistent was an accountability strategy. Now we call this the tactical framework, and this is where we consistently jump into our own lives and analyze it at periods of the week, in the morning and in the evening, during the middle of the week, setting weekly plans, reviewing those weekly plans, making sure I recognize my wins. And through all of those touch points, I was able to constantly look at the man in the mirror and ask, am I remembering the mission? Am I building success around home? Am I doing what I said I was going to do? And by getting better by 1% every single day, I was able to improve my systems, improve my control measures, improve my structure, routines, and systems, which meant right across the Mission Balance Code, my life felt organized. And this is the exact system that we use to help our members in the Mission 365 reach new heights, reach a top 1% operating system standard, where people show up the very highest level so that we can build success from home, so that we can eradicate the chaos and bring more structure, routines, and systems into our life to manage our time, energy, and focus. So if you recognize yourself in this video and you want to do some work on yourself with the things that we are talking about, if you want to come into our world for 2 weeks on our 2-week Mission Insight program, where you can take part in our tactical awareness accountability system, and you can learn more about the Mission Balance Code and how you can organize and balance your life better, then simply click the link that is directly in my description and have a read about what we offer and what you get in those 2 weeks. It's the one thing that is going to change the way that you operate. Or you could continue to stay in the same cycle of chaos where you're wearing your mask of success and missing the true value of your life and what it's worth.